Under Kentucky law, the fact that your offenses involved the use of a firearm makes the sentences violent offenses, the murders at least violent offenses, and you are not eligible for probation. Therefore, it is the judgment of this court that you be sentenced accordingly, as I have described the jury verdicts. And those sentences will run concurrently for a total sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Christian Kid Martin has filed a motion for a new trial in Kentucky. We watched Martin as he was sentenced to life without parole last September, and it all played out right here at Court TV. Remember, he took the stand at the end of the day. A lot of you thought he was not guilty and were shocked by the guilty verdict. The former pilot was found guilty in the deaths of 3 of his neighbors that included a sordid web of allegations and infidelity. The triple murders occurred just weeks before one of the victims, Calvin Phillips, was scheduled to testify in Martin's court-martial. In the motion for the new trial, Martin's attorneys argue that the trial court erred when it allowed Joan Harmon and her son Elijah to invoke the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. The trial court erred when it admitted the .45 casing that Diana Phillips found 5 months after the murders and after the CSI teams had already cleared the area. The jury, they claim, should have heard that Miss Phillips failed a polygraph regarding the circumstances of finding that casing, and they write the trial court should have granted a directed verdict for the murders of Pam Phillips and Ed Dazzaro. Our Julia Janae spoke to Kid Martin about what he claims was a wrongful conviction from prison. Take a look.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Christian Martin, guilty of murder under instruction number 4.
It is.
Christian Kid Martin, once a decorated helicopter pilot and Iraq War veteran, is now a convicted murderer, guilty in the killings of his neighbors, Calvin and Pam Phillips and Ed Dazzaro.
Juror number 70.
Is that your verdict?
Yes.
Martin appeared incredulous. He glanced back at his family. They nodded in disbelief. It was not the verdict they had hoped for.
Gut punch. It was like it wasn't real. It was just hard to, fathom. And then even when I went back to get shackled and transferred back to jail, the deputies that had been doing, one of them was actually crying.
Chris, did you murder these 3 people?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you have someone else kill them?
No.
Are you behind the charges?
No. I think the evidence and the expert testimony has shown that.
Martin testified in his own defense and denied he had anything to do with the murders. His attorney argued he was framed by an ex who lied to him from the start, a bigamist who threatened to ruin him when he left her.
I mean, this is a really manipulative sociopath con artist that people are dealing with. They need to understand that. This is a very dangerous person.
The jury heard a lot about Joan Harmon, who was not divorced when she married Martin. The defense accused her of framing him. As proof, they pointed to this video of Harmon at an AT&T store with the victim's phone. Harmon refused to take the stand at trial, instead pleaded the Fifth. But prosecutors say there was only one person with motive.
It's motive. Overall, overarching all of this. No one had the motive to kill Calvin Phillips, who was going to be the critical witness in the court-martial that would end Martin's career.
Christian, did you kill Calvin Phillips?
No, I didn't. I mean, I feel really bad for the family. I really do. But like I said, I hadn't had anything to do with them in years.
In the end, jurors found Christian Martin guilty on all counts. They include 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of first-degree arson, 1 count of attempted arson, 2 counts of first-degree burglary, and 3 counts of tampering with physical evidence. From behind bars, Martin continues to maintain his innocence and sat down with Court TV about his efforts to clear his name.
It became pretty obvious that this was several people were probably behind this, not just one. When you look at Pam and Ed's murders, those were very precise head and brain shots. Ed was a big man. That didn't come out in the trial either, but Ed was like, I don't know, 6'2", 6'3", probably 200-some pounds. You know, I'm 5'8", you know, 160, 165 pounds with a bad back, bad neck, bad knees, heart condition.
While Calvin Phillips was beaten and shot in his house, his wife Pam and neighbor Ed Donzero were also shot. Their bodies found in Pam's car miles away. It had been set on fire and abandoned in a cornfield.
I'm not capable of what happened here. I'm not capable of doing what happened there.
Martin says he was at home with his fiancee and her children when these slayings occurred and offered his home security video to prove it.
I was at home with 3 people. I mean, to me, how many witnesses do you have to prove your innocence? If I'd had 5 people with me that night, or 10, 20, how many people need to just sit there and say, yeah, I was with him all night, for the jury to go, okay, you know, this guy obviously didn't do it, he has an alibi.
The clearly frustrated inmate says his ability to prove his own innocence has been limited, but one thing that has helped his spirit since the trial, a Free Kit Martin Facebook page has sprung up on social media with more than 1,000 members signed up.
There's about 40 people that email me and call me regularly just because they saw what happened and, you know, couldn't believe it. So that's helped a lot.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Free Kit now! Free Kit now! Free Kit now!
The Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Christian Richard Martin. We are here today for sentencing. For it is the judgment of this court that you be sentenced accordingly, as I have described the jury verdicts. And those sentences will run concurrently for a total sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Still with us, trial attorney Wendy Patrick in Los Angeles and criminal defense attorney Eric Puryear in Davenport, Iowa. Eric, to you first here. For our viewers that watch this and say, yeah, he deserves a new trial, the problem is you don't get a new trial because you disagree with the outcome of the first trial. There has to be something that went wrong. An error was made. There were a couple things that we articulated that the defense is asking for, that Martin's attorneys are asking for. Put it into perspective, though. It's a long shot, is it not, to get a new trial in most cases?
Almost certainly. I think about all the cases I've handled over the years in both Illinois and Iowa, and motions for new trials being granted are well under 1%. It's a tiny fraction of a percentage. When it happens, it's a wonderful thing. I tell clients that in that sort of a situation, it's your lucky day. Buy a lottery ticket as well, because apparently you're lucky today. At the same time, though, this is a case where I was surprised by the jury verdict. I was surprised by how some of the case played out. I think there's good arguments that there were legal errors here. Whether it's enough to carry the day or not, we will see.
Wendy, your thoughts on this case and the bid for a new trial for Christian Kit Martin?
Yeah, let me loop on what Eric just said. Whether it's enough to carry the day, we will see. That is going to be one of the things the judge has to consider. Not just was there something or some ruling that might have been done better or might have considered different types of evidence, but if there were any errors made, would it have changed the outcome of the case? You would almost have needed to be in the deliberation room to be able to answer that. And we don't pervade the jury's privacy, their decision-making. Now, sometimes jurors speak to the media afterwards and give us sort of a view into what they were talking about. But in a case like this, even if many people are surprised at the verdict, remember he was found guilty on more than just the murder. And although motive matters to jurors, motive isn't an element of murder. I mean, it didn't have to be proven, but it's much stronger of a case if it is. And it seemed like with the complicated interpersonal dynamics that surrounded the personalities in this particular case, the jury, for whatever reason, we don't know all of it, found that that was persuasive, and they found proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So yes, I think it's a big uphill battle to say in a case like this, even if many people are surprised at the verdict, that legally he would be entitled to a new trial.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. The motion has been filed, and the wheels of justice churn ever so slowly, so it'll be months before we hear anything.